Okay, I'm here today in Norfolk, believe it or not. I've just driven up from Wales and I've had to come to Norfolk because I had a little bit of a mishap on the way back from Berlin. Basically, I went up a country lane in Holland and I wasn't paying enough attention to the overhanging trees, and I wiped out a hatch on top of the actual camper. They're only made of plastic, and what really got me is these hatches are an extortionate price. I managed to get hold of a company called Greentrees Caravans here in Norfolk who had some old stock, and basically I managed to get the hatch for £80, so that was a huge saving and it was worth me driving all the way up to Norfolk. Now today I'm heading down to Dover, but I'm going to be parking up in Canterbury for the night. There's a good little stop there. Now, how I'm finding all these places to stop at is I'm using multiple different applications. One, I'm using Park for Night, which is an absolute brilliant app for finding good parking spots. It's actually found me this parking spot, and it only cost me £4 for the night, and that's because I'm staying a few hours this morning. Now, normally you would have locations that you can park for free, proper campsites with facilities and many other things. Now, as I said, we're going to be travelling all over Europe, visiting different domestic appliance companies along route. I've got a lot to see in Italy, I've got a lot to see in Turkey as well, as that is where most of the manufacturing is done for the domestic appliance industry. But we're going to Gotak in Spain first, and they make the selector switches for hobs and also cookers. And we're going to have a tour around the factory, and Daniel has offered to show me the actual manufacturing procedure as well. So that's well worth the visit. Now, as you can see on the back of the camper, I've now got my motorbike attached. This is because it's going to give me the facilities to explore when I get to some of these locations. It's nearly impossible to drive a 9-metre camper around town centres and everything else, so I can find a good place to park on the outside of the cities and also use the motorbike to go and visit places. And it will be a lot of fun, especially when I get down to Morocco. Now, the reason I'm going to Morocco is we have a really ludicrous situation at the moment since Brexit. The new rules only allow British subjects to stay in Europe for a maximum of 90 days in any 180. Now, as you know, I've already been to Berlin and I've used 3-4 weeks up there, going there and back. Now, I've got roughly 2 months left, so I'm going to spend some time in France, going up onto the Pyrenees, which I love exploring, and with the motorbike we should get some very good footage. And then I'm also going down to Barcelona to Gotak. Then we'll go down to Gibraltar, to a place called Algeciras, I think, and cross over into Morocco, and I'll be staying there for roughly 2-3 months to get myself outside of Europe so I can go back into Europe. Then we'll be travelling down to Turkey, so that gives me another 3 months to go and visit all the manufacturing plants in Italy. And I've also got some places to go to in Greece. And then once we're in Turkey, we'll be visiting all the major manufacturing plants down there. But first we've got to rectify the problem with the hatch. I've already picked the hatch up, so if we get better weather when we're down in Canterbury, I'll be fitting the new hatch. But let me go and show you the damage. Right, there you can see the hatch, and I've had to tape it all up because it actually got completely wiped out. So we've got a new hatch to fit, but I'm going to do that when it's a bit warmer. And here is the new Starlink system. And this is absolutely brilliant. I've been getting download speeds of somewhere in the region of 300 while on the motorway. So I'm able to play all my radio stations that I like on Alexa while driving. Absolutely brilliant. Okay, let me just show you around this Southwold parking spot. Now, there's 5 or 6 different places around the village that you can see in the background. I chose this because I wanted a remote area for the simple reason I've got the motorbike on the back, and it was a Saturday night and I really didn't want any, shall we say, people coming out of the pubs and tampering. So anyway, it's a great big, very flat area. I haven't seen any facilities here, as in filling or dropping off any water, but it is a nice camping area. Now I'll show you the kiosks and everything first, but you've got a whole car parking area here. It is October, so it is a lot quieter than normal. But while I'm at this end, let me just quickly show you around the camper. And if I flick the camera around, the camper is basically fully central heated. I've got 2 gas bottles for when I get up into the Pyrenees mountains, and they should last me a couple of weeks. I've got the CRF Honda on the back, which will be taking me around towns, up mountains and everywhere else. And you've already seen the Starlink system on the roof. Starlink has been absolutely brilliant for me with regards being able to not only not use my data when traveling, but this new generation 3 is absolutely fantastic. I had generation 2 first, and that meant I had to go onto the top of the camper to install the antenna. But with this generation 3, it's mobile up to 100 mile an hour. That means you get data while traveling on the motorway, 60, 70 mile an hour. And that means I'm not using my SIM cards on my mobile phone to obtain maps or other information. So when you first arrive, you'll come into the main car park and you've got some apps, but the sign does state that you need to pay within 15 minutes. And as I arrived after 8 o'clock in the evening, it was pretty straightforward. And as you can see from the sign there, it says basically from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. is paid. Outside of those hours, it's free. So I paid this morning for the actual parking. And we'll just take you up to one of the meters to have a look so you know what the rules are for this place. You've got pay centre for the car park, and I'll just give you a close-up of the rules so you can all see that. And then you've just got a normal car pay and display, and there are the tariff rates. There's a couple of nice pubs in the town. It's well worthwhile going up there and visiting. And as you can see in the distance up that road, some campers are parked on the side of the road, which you do get permission to do. And there's also some places to eat, tea rooms, as I said, some nice bars that do food as well. And I believe there's a couple of cafes up there as well. Another pay centre there, but I'll just take you on to the front where these beach cabins are, which is quite a nice part for the locals. And you've got the pier, and then a promenade that runs all the way down the front here. But you'll be able to find out all the relevant information for this on Park 4 Night, and they've got quite a useful website on Google as well with regards to this area, which is Southwold. And across the other side there is Holland, and France will be down that way, I believe, and we'll be crossing over tomorrow. Well, it's a lovely little place to stay. I thoroughly enjoyed myself. You've got panoramic views, lovely location. The town's good, the parking's good, very peaceful night's sleep. Now, we're going to drive 2-3 hours, or sorry, I'm going to drive now 2-3 hours, heading down towards Canterbury. This is a really useful place to stop off if you're crossing the channel, because sometimes by the time you actually drive to Dover, you've then got to wait for the ferry. Crossing the ferry, you're normally about 3-4 hours. And then you really want to be driving a couple of hours to a nice location when you get off at Calais. And what I always find much more beneficial is to actually stop at Canterbury and then catch the ferry from there in the morning from Dover, because it's only a 20-minute drive. That means you're nice and fresh when you get to the other side. Anyway, we'll do a video from that location. Thanks very much indeed for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video.